Welcome to Book Bingers, the podcast where two best friends talk about books, book theories, book boyfriends, wingspans, not wingspans and ruin, but today.
Fourth Wing!
We're back.
We are back. Hopefully you've been following along with us on our reread journey, counting down to Onyx Storm.
Oh my god.
We are on chapters
21 to 25.
Yeah, we're really cooking.
Yeah.
We're in the meat. We're halfway.
We are. It's at a point that it's tough to stop.
Yeah. True. And we're also at the point in time right now, we're in December, where everyone's theories are everywhere. And I'm trying really hard not to watch them so that I'm not influenced by them when we're doing this.
Oh my god, but can I tell you one that...
Is it the Bodhi one?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I want to hear that one though. But Jenna sent me one this morning that I would love this.
Yeah.
Is what if Liam, when he was whittling the dragons, put runes in them?
I love that.
Right?
Oh, I love that.
Right.
Okay, so speaking of Liam, before we get into the books.
Sorry.
Another one that I saw was
this chapter starts out with Liam.
So he's fresh on the mind. Was that his sister, her power, Sloane, is that she's going to eventually have to be the one to cure Xaden.
She'll have to
siphon it out of him, and maybe these runes that will be left to her, maybe that'll come into play then. Maybe that will go together.
I like that.
But I also realized that she has hair that she wears in a braid on the side too, and if she were to siphon,
what if that was her?
Right? What if she were to siphon it and have to become venom in her hair, and she would stop when she saw Violet. Mm-hmm. But then I also realized, you know who else wears their hair in a braid to the side?
Jacinia?
Cat.
Oh. Oh. Oh no. Oh,
me paying attention to everyone's hair suddenly because of that. I know.
Wow.
I know.
What's the Bodhi one?
So we'll probably get into it more because I don't remember Iron Flame the way that other people are reading Iron Flame right now. Is that there's many instances where he keeps things from Violet that seem very sus, and they're like, what if he's the double agent? Why is it that he's the cousin to Xaden, yet his best friends are everybody else, and that Bodhi's always third place? Oh, no. And that even though there's examples where she's I don't want to hear about any ex-girlfriends, he's oh, weird, cat, and he just keeps bringing up other things, and he doesn't tell her when they're gonna check her bag and when she's about to get on the dragons to fly over there, even though he knows, and all of these kind of sus things. And I was ooh, I need to get when we get into Iron Flame, I'm gonna be paying attention to Bodhi more.
Oh gosh.
But I was of course there's got to be some people that we don't know, but I was
sure.
Bodhi kind of makes sense because I don't feel the way I feel about him the way I do about Liam. And even Garrick and some of the other ones.
Oh, that would be tough. Okay. Family? Ooh.
Right?
Okay.
Okay, let's get into the meat. So
where we left off.
Yeah.
Amber just died.
Bye, Amber.
See ya.
I do not like that someone said, I'm what they picture Amber looking like. P.S. Not the vibe I was going for.
Why in my brain, I don't even know how she's described.
Honestly, I don't either. Honestly, I was does she have blonde hair?
I thought red hair.
I didn't even think. I have no picture of her.
But in my brain, she had red hair.
True.
And she was
orangey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, orangey.
And freckles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have no picture of her as being a blonde. I literally don't even know if she was described. But she clearly was.
But apparently, to someone. She looks like you. So that's your next bound. Amber Mavis.
I guess I already did it.
Just cover yourself in scorch marks. I don't know.
Done.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's pick up there. It's Liam and Violet. And
Liam and Violet. Yep.
They're in the
archives.
The archives. It's Scribe Town, USA.
So now he's her little shadow.
I know.
And
she doesn't like it, but
she doesn't like it, but
love it.
He's so nice. He gives her no reason to not like him. He's very hard.
It's really impossible to not like Leah. He is the definition of a golden retriever.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's get into it.
My first thing that I said was Liam scanning the archives like someone might lunge out and come after Violet. And at this point, she's still so sure that scribes are pure and good and this is a safe place for her.
Yep.
And it just makes me think, like, what bad things will continue to happen in the
Right?
archives?
Like, they can't all be good. Like,
No.
there's got to be some evil scribes.
Maybe.
So, awesome. Continuing on, Violet learns that the rebellion kids have to be writers. Like, I can't believe that this is secret knowledge.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That, like, her of all people with who her mom is.
Correct. And for someone who knows the ins and outs of everything.
Everything. And, like, scribes know all, right? Like, her dad never mentioned it. Her mom never mentioned it. Like, no one mentioned it.
She knew that they were all to be conscripted into one of the branches, but she did not know that they all have to be writers.
Wild, right?
Which is crazy.
Crazy.
And it only makes me hate the government more.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
But I do think that Liam is the right person to be giving her this kind of information.
Because she'll listen to Liam in a way that she won't listen to Xaden, because they just have this angst, this build-up still. But Liam is so, like, calming.
And Liam gives her that, like, peek into Xaden, too, because she is very curious, you know? Yeah. So, like, she is then learning more about, because I think we learn a lot about Xaden in his character through Liam.
Yeah, and their relationship together, and that Xaden might be more complex than she had given him credit for. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she finds out, like, she thought that his dad, like, didn't die because his name, like, wasn't on the rolls, and he's like, no, he's I watched
my mom and my dad die in the same day.
Yeah. And so Violet is now, implicitly, we know that she's starting to question.
Yeah. And like, and she, you know, we start to find out that Liam has a sister and they weren't put together and all of that stuff. Like,
and he ended up getting raised with Xaden.
Yeah. They're brothers, basically.
Yeah.
Which is adorable. We also find out some important information from a little quill, a little scroll.
Yeah.
Here, which I think is the first time that Violet will really start to question the knowledge that there is getting passed down to them.
Yeah, so one of the scrolls she's supposed to bring back to Markham, it falls, it opens, and they see that there was another attack on the southern border. The southern border just continues to be mentioned.
Yeah.
And there was a supply convoy that was raided, and so she's fully expecting that they're going to go to Battle Brief, and they're going to hear about it.
Yep.
And then they go to Battle Brief, and nothing is mentioned.
Even Liam seems a little shocked at some of this information.
And so she tries to trigger it, like, oh, it must have been classified. We just didn't see it. Like, and then thinking that it'll eventually get talked about, but it doesn't.
No.
It
never does. This is really, I think it's interesting, the evolution of Violet that we're going to see through all of these books, but this is still innocent Violet.
Yeah.
In Iron Flame, we see a distrusting Violet, and I think in Onyx Storm, we're going to see a vengeful Violet. But it's the growth of her character that I'm here for. And already we're only halfway through the book and she's grown so much. Mm-hmm. It's kind of exciting. But, like, can we get into the classroom?
Yes.
I love this scene so much. Okay, I love that you're still just, like, the quill and the ink.
Oh my god, I can't. It's all, every time I read it, it's funny.
It is so funny that, like, why is that the magical element? Mm-hmm. But here we are. Okay, for one, she finds out that Xaden warded her door and that only Violet and Xaden can get in, and that doesn't make her happy, but that makes me feel some type of way. Like,
and the thing is, she at first doesn't really know what to think. Like, her instinct is to be mad about it. And then she's like, but wait.
It's kind of
He's
adorable.
keeping me safe.
Also, everyone in school is acting so different to Violet.
Oh my god. Like parting of the Red Sea.
Of the sea. And I love that Taryn is like, they're showing the appropriate level of difference.
Oh my god.
He is, like, as they should, bow fucking down. Like, that's wild because she doesn't even have her power yet.
No, it's so funny. But then it's like, huge. What does Taryn know?
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
I know.
Like, as they should.
I know. As they should. It makes me wonder what all his previous writers, like, gifts were. Like, he's like, oh, it's going to be a big one.
I know.
But, like, what were the other ones? How many riders have you had? That's like my other question. Like, do I know?
There's so much that I want to know about
I
Terrence.
want a whole like book just about like the dragons.
Absolutely.
Like
just
give me that.
Give
me
me
a
the
little
grumpy,
novella
like,
on
absolutely.
how they met, how they
That'd
fell
be
in
great.
love.
I would love Dragon Love.
Dragon love. Yeah. I'm here for it. I also love a little flirty Liam that comes up.
He is a flirt.
How is he not getting it? I think he is.
I mean, he definitely is.
He definitely is.
We're just seeing Jasenia like right away.
All the time. We're only seeing Violet's POV, but like if I were there and I'd be like, Zayden's taken, great.
Yeah.
Liam is my second choice.
Absolutely.
Like all the way. A little like him being like, I'm not opposed to sleeping in your room. Babe. I cannot.
And I also love that Xaden is in the area and he seems like he's not paying attention to her at all.
Oh, this is one of my
favorites.
favorites.
And then she drops her quill and his shadows pick it up.
The shadows.
She's like,
and yet she looks over at him and he's just in a conversation. Like not paying attention to her at all. Swoon. But like, and it says later, he says like, I'm annoyingly aware of everything you do. Like this is one of those moments where he can't not be aware of everything. But that little like gesture is just so gentlemanly. It's the same as when he like opens a door for her later and he's like, habits, die hard or whatever. And she's like, what? And he's like, never mind. But it makes me think like your dad was the definition of a gentleman, huh? Like you obviously learned that.
And then I keep thinking about
at a young age
how sad it is that like I know his dad, I don't know, maybe his dad wasn't bad, but
I don't think he was.
But
I think fact that he knew the truth.
He had to watch his dad die because he killed Brennan. And he never killed anyone.
Yeah. Oh, and they always like talk about how, he went crazy at the end.
Yeah.
I don't think he went crazy. I think he found out the truth. Yeah. And it sounds crazy to people that think that Venom are, fairy tale.
Yeah.
But no one would listen. Imagine if someone was like, there's vampires attacking us. We'd be like, okay, crazy. But like, what if that, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it's like. He's like telling them that a fairy tale creature has come to life. Yeah. That's what I think. That he obviously knew the truth. And like, no one would listen.
How sad is that?
But clearly, Violet's mom knows the truth because as we'll get to later, we'll find some evidence in her
she definitely does.
So, we also do know the truth because we've read further.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Anywho, he picks up her quill and I'm swooning. Yes. Okay, great. And now they're talking about a battle from 600 years ago.
And I feel like everything that happened 600 years ago is really like it's
the catalyst.
It's a turning point.
I mean, even Andarna.
Yeah.
Is, 650 years old. So...
And they mentioned, so it was one of the final battles where griffins and dragons worked together.
Yep.
To annihilate the army of the barons. Who or what was the army of the barons? We keep hearing about the barons. And the barons, it's the fables of the barons.
A lot of fables be coming to light. Maybe don't ignore all of those, like, fairy tale books.
Yeah, yeah. Hansel and Gretel.
Saying. Just the little old lady might live in a shoe.
Yeah,
okay?
She might, okay?
Either way.
Be cautious.
Be cautious.
Yeah, But I wonder, will we find ourselves going to the barons?
It also makes me wonder, so once upon a time, Griffin Riders and Dragon Riders had to work together.
Yeah.
How much of those alliances are still intact in secret? I mean, how much are we going to find out? That I wouldn't be surprised if Rhiannon's parents are one of them that actually know the truth, have relationships with Griffin Riders, and...
I think you're going to see a lot
we're going to
on that southern border, all of those.
I think there's no choice but to see us have to come together again, which Iron Flame already sets up.
Yep.
And it's going to have to be another, like, I have to work with my enemy to, beat another enemy. Yeah. Which they'll end up probably not being enemies by the end. I have this suspicious feeling that Kat is going to end up being kind of like Imogen, where in the beginning Violet didn't like her.
There's some people who think that like Kat and Dane.
I could see Kat and Dane, absolutely, or Kat and Eric.
I'm
just saying the king's son with a Griffin rider.
Yeah.
Come on, talk about the marriage of two worlds. I'm interested in Eric. I really hope he ends up being a good guy. Because the king already is giving me bad vibes.
Correct.
So your son has to be the opposite of you.
I mean, he clearly is in opposition to his father completely, which we will see.
I feel like if you have a good king, you have to have an evil son. And if you have an evil king, you have to have a good son.
Yep.
Period.
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
That's the formula.
Literally, I'm writing the book on it. That's what you need, okay?
That's it.
It's one or the other.
You heard it here.
You heard it here. Real Easter egg.
Can't have too good, too bad.
Can't do it.
Unless you're the Lannisters.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
Or the Targaryens.
Fair. Okay. Oh my god, we're writing the same things. That's what's happening over here.
We sure are.
I'm annoyingly aware of everything you do. Thanks to Liam. I love that scene. Okay, I jumped to the sparring scene. Do you have anything before the sparring scene?
Let's see. You wrote something about Deborah talking about the stronghold being equipped with the first crossbolt, which proved lethal to dragonkind and was one of the final battles Griffins and Dragons were. Oh yeah, we did talk about that. The crossbolt, yes. The crossbolt, yes, the crossbolt.
That just gives me Game of Thrones vibes.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
It goes to show that really you don't need magic to take down a dragon. You just need a pointy spear of some kind.
Correct. What sparring scene? Oh, when they're just watching. When everyone is just watching them with their shirts off.
And are like, going to town or whatever. And I love that Taryn's like, stop playing defense and start being offensive.
Yeah.
And I really think that it's going to be a theme of seeing Violet not want to kill people, I think she's going to turn into the ultimate weapon, just like she feared she would. But I think she will. It's giving Aelin.
It is. But Aelin would kill with
pleasure.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. With pleasure.
I'm on when she didn't have power. On the sparring scene. Holy fucking hot.
I mean,
Xaden and Garrick.
This is where the description of Xaden's body really comes into play. And I love the imagery of just everybody kind of stopping and turning and Dane being like, hello, back to work.
And we're like, we're working.
Yep, working hard. This is where we also see Jack.
Yeah.
Fuck Jack. Jack fucking Barlow. You know what I mean?
Every time.
I do love, one, this is where we find out that he's allergic to oranges.
And the thing is, if it was anyone else, it's a passing sentence and no one would pick it up, but Violet,
I think, would pick it up on anybody because she, you never know who you're going to spar. But because it's Jack, she's hyper aware. I also love how Xaden, comes to her defense in a way that she still gets to fight her battle. Yeah. But he's like, let her cook, as the kids would say. But then, as soon as Jack's out of the way and he shuts the door on him, he's like, what the fuck, Violet? Why the fuck aren't you wearing your armor? Yeah. He lets her have her moment and then steps in front of Dane as Dane's about to chastise her for why are you egging him on? What are you doing, Violet? Don't mess with him. I can't with you, Dane. I cannot. I can't. I'm so
annoyed with him.
Annoyed with you at this point. What does this girl got to do?
Anytime he opens his mouth now, it's
done. I'm so done. And I love that Xaden doesn't give him the time of day. He's just like, Yeah. She can handle her shit. But what I'm not going to let you do is not wear your armor because if you die, I die. Okay? Put your shit on. I love him. I love a protective Xaden. Yeah. I can't. And I realize that some women probably don't like that. I'm not one of those women.
But in this scenario, come on. It just works.
He can't keep her safe all the time, and it shows that it frustrates him.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks it's because it's I
think it frustrates him, but I also think it scares him.
Of course.
He's fearful. And not for himself.
For her.
Yeah. Oof. We can see that things are changing.
I love when he says, I can't kill you. And she says, that doesn't mean you can't hurt me. And we see him blink and shift backwards, composing himself as if he's been attacked by her. And that sentence to his core.
Uh-huh.
And it's because we're seeing that Violet can't see that he cares for her on a deeper level than just his own safety. Violet, hello. Like, wake up. Hello, wake up.
She would at this point never thinks that he would possibly
but she's about to, because we move on.
She sure does, because a couple hours later, she starts channeling.
She sure does. She starts
all of a sudden, power rushes through her body.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, this is weird. But then, she's like, no. This is lust.
And who does she open the door to but our best friend Liam? And she's like, I
can't do this right now.
I would love to, but you're actually not the one I want.
Nope. Oh,
and it's
God. And
like
then it's
she's
this,
being
like,
pulled.
It's like this, oh, shit.
It's like a tether.
Correct.
Pulling her.
Sure does feel
almost
that way.
Almost as if they're fated to be together. Pulling her to the one and only Zayden. And I love...
Are there any mentions of mates?
Outside of the dragons? Not yet.
In humans? No.
Mm-mm. Not that I've picked up on, at least.
Yeah, no.
Uh-uh.
Makes me wonder.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just makes me wonder.
If she's part dragon. It can be.
That too.
Yeah.
That too.
I love Rebecca so much for throwing this in here because obviously she didn't need to, but I love that Zayden is high. Mm-hmm. I love that he's just smoking it up. The visual I have of his like foot up on the building, just
with
like
the churum,
just smoking away, getting a little like loosey goosey Zayden.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. And the fact that his like guard is down because he's high and he's trying to like tune out his dragons doing the thing. He's giving in more than he would normally.
He's feeling it too.
He's feeling it.
He is feeling it too.
I'm obsessed.
And Violet's going, this has to be Taryn. It just has to. And yet I know it isn't. So Violet's down bad.
Yeah.
And then Zayden goes, where's Liam? Your bed? His voice is like a crack of lightning. Like, Zayden is not okay with the thought that Liam could possibly
She's like,
be
he's in bed.
He's
like, your bed? Like, are you being so for real? Because I wonder how open he's been with Liam about his feelings. Like, Liam, it leads me to believe that either Liam's just picking up on it because he knows Zayden so well, or does he actually open up to Liam? I don't know. But Liam is clearly the only one that also picks up on them when they start having mind speak. He's the only one that's like, you two.
Yeah, and like back in the sparring scene, like he was like, stop objectifying the wing leader. Like, it's definitely like he sees it too.
But I love our first little like jealousy moment from Zayden actually saying it out loud to her. Mm-hmm. And she's like, is that jealousy? Love it. I'm obsessed when she says something within me expands somehow too big for my own body when she's talking about like as she first starts channeling. She says it's as though I've been split at the very seams of the fabric of my being. And I can't help but think, is it because you're not fully human that you're able to feel the fabric of your being being split? Does everybody else feel like this when they start channeling? I don't know. But that is very descriptive.
Yeah, and it sure seems like it is more power than any one person has handled.
Correct. Zayden smoking is the hottest thing ever. Yes. Then we get to a kiss. A kiss to end all kisses. It's the way that I could live in this kiss forever. Like, keep going.
The buildup is just...
It's so good that it makes lightning strike. Our first little, like, teaser
we don't
moment.
Realize, you know, like...
We don't as a reader.
We don't as a... First time. And she doesn't realize.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's why we don't realize it, because we're reading it from Violet's POV. But
in retrospect, you're like, oh.
Duh. Right. Duh.
This is her power.
Obviously.
What a kiss is what you said.
Yeah. It's just like, yes.
And this is when you're like, oh, Rebecca Yarros is a romance writer.
This is where you really see it. Like,
that's where she shines.
I had never read anything by her before this. And it's, she does shine. At the end of the day, it's a romantasy. The romance is first
forward, yes.
And like without the romance, there's no story. Unlike a fantasy.
Correct.
And as she has said many times, it's all about Xaden and Violet. Like, which is why it gets me so frustrated when people have their theories that she's going to end up with Dane. This isn't SJM, babes. No. Their end game. Are you crazy, town? You think that the real plot twist here is that she's going to go back to Dane?
No.
That's crazy. She's a romance writer. She's not going to do that. I
refuse to believe.
She's not going to do that. And I need you all to get on board with that because you're
drop the other theories.
My God.
Also, before the kiss, she actually does. There's a little teacher moment.
There's a little teacher moment, and she does so well. And he praise. I've got a praise king. He praises her.
Protect
and he's
her.
Like,
praise.
Yeah, he's like, wow, that took me.
Yeah, so she learns how to ground, and she learns how to basically shut the door to Taryn and Sigale's antics.
Correct. So we find out that she's very good at grounding, shielding, all of these things that take a lot of mental strength.
She's just like really good at everything. You know what I mean?
Clearly, she gets there. Yeah. But like, she's got this fucking brain power that is so above all the other writers that are there to fight and physical and all the other things. And she's going to She's
just kind of really proving why Taryn chose her.
Yeah.
You know?
Love.
Yeah.
Love. Okay, we move on. And you're happy with Rhiannon. You're a big Rhiannon
I love
lover.
Rhiannon.
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah. I think
she's the ultimate bestie.
Yeah, I will be so mad if anything happens to Rhiannon. Don't.
My God.
Don't.
Oh my God.
Don't. Honestly, and this pains me to say, like, take Riddick or Sawyer.
Oh, for sure.
But like,
for sure. Honestly.
Don't take Rhiannon.
Don't take. It's like Harry Potter. You can't take Hermione or Ron. Take anybody else.
Correct.
But you leave her only friend that's hers and not Xaden's.
Correct.
She needs.
Like, we've had Rhiannon almost the same number of pages as Violet. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think it'll end up being Imogen. If we see a female die, I think it'll end up being Imogen, which also would break my heart. Yeah. But
yeah, because we're really
she's all about the bigger cause.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
Also, I love Imogen too. She's a good one to sacrifice.
I don't want her to go.
No.
I don't want any of the women to go.
I just know that we will not make it to the end with everyone intact.
I also think that Violet has to lose a sibling. We already thought she had lost a sibling. That's got to come full circle. Yeah. And I think it'll end up being maybe both, but probably Mira. Mira has already kind of proven she would do anything for her sister.
Yeah.
But
especially if Brennan is bad.
Oh, God.
And in that case, I could see both of them going.
Yeah. That's what I said, or maybe both.
Yeah.
And then she will have lost mom, dad,
She's an orphan.
She'll be a full orphan.
Yeah.
Which will really set her up to become a queen. Just saying.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, so Rhiannon's talking about, they're talking about Xaden, and they say he's the most powerful writer in our generation for now. Because Rhiannon knows that Violet is the real deal.
And she's such... we all strive to have a friend like this, but we usually don't get one that is like all about supporting your friend, even if they're more powerful or bigger, whatever than you. She knows that Violet is going to be the girl, and she's not it's not coming from a jealousy. She's like, girl, you're gonna fucking
that's
do
my
it.
Friend.
Like, you're gonna fucking do it.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. Also, Rhiannon gets a dope power as well. Like, let's keep it real. Rhiannon's not over here just like playing with quills.
A once in a century signet power.
That's gotta be. I wonder how much she's gonna be able to hone this power.
I feel like it's gonna have to come up a couple more times and really.
Even we see her really come in clutch and Iron Flame with this power.
Yes.
But how much more is she going to be able to do? I'm so excited to see how much she's going to grow in this power.
How much more powerful, like the distance that she can work over.
She can do.
So she can
will
basically...
she be able to eventually do a person?
She can basically summon objects, like make them disappear.
Imagine if she's able to pull a person.
Oh boy.
Pull from another world. Yeah. Who knows?
Oh God.
Like a world, a godly world? I don't know. Who knows? Love her. Okay, Dane about Xaden. You have every reason to hate him too. He reminds me, reaching for me before thinking better of it and drawing his hand back. Stop touching her. I can't not see it now.
Once you are clued into it, all he freaking does is touch her.
Over and over and over and over. When you're reading the book the first time, you don't think anything of it because he's just
he's
that
he's
friend.
He's a friend. He's just, that's that.
Friends touch each other all the time. I can't unsee every little thing he does. It actually drives me crazy.
Yeah, and then I get confused with Dane because he's very wishy-washy in what he tells Violet. Like, he tells her about his top secret signet, right? But not about these things that he knows about Xaden. But in retrospect, it's probably because the things that he knows would probably only make Violet side with Xaden more.
Correct.
The only thing that I think that he could be talking about here is we eventually find out that Xaden bears responsibility over the entire 107.
Right, but like, what is Dane being told about it? Because
and who is he hearing this from? Like,
obviously, his crappy dad.
Or did he like use his power to get this information from someone?
Possibly.
You know?
Possibly. I feel like he's very much groomed and gaslit by his dad to believe one thing. And we see in Iron Flame him kind of come to a realization that maybe he's been wrong.
Yeah.
But right now, Dane is still very much living in the I believe what I'm told, and I believe that Xaden's the bad guy.
Yeah.
And that obviously he believes that Brennan is dead, as we all do.
And I think it's interesting here when he says this, like, Xaden has secrets, reasons to never forgive your mother, and I don't want him to use you to get his revenge. The next sentence is, my hackles rise. There's a sliver of truth in what he's saying. Yeah. So, like,
we're seeing more
she's
of a
already,
truth moment from her.
Yeah, I feel like you start to see this more and more where she instantly, whether we think it's like a gut judgment that she's making, but is it part of her power that she
correct
literally knows the truth?
Yeah. And like, Dane says, I'm sorry for not asking for the memory. You better get to class. Like, he's just so, like, I think he's even having an internal conflict. Like, I think he's been told to probably be spying on Violet.
Yeah.
And I think he has those, like, and he thinks he's doing it for the greater good to get information on Xaden. But I think he does have, like, this, like, I'm sorry, like, moments. I do believe that we will see a major redemption arc. And honestly, I'm going to be real. I feel like he kind of already does it in Iron Flame. But, like, in this moment, I hate you.
Correct.
I'm sorry.
Correct.
I'm sorry, but this is not from your POV. If I was reading it from your POV, it might be much more like
maybe I would
Academy,
just actually be more annoyed with you.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. But right now, I hate you so
Dane,
much.
stop touching her.
Okay, but then we jump to hearing about Brennan more.
Yeah, so we get into Professor Carr's class because now that she finally channels, she gets to go to this class, and he instantly, like, is basically like, do you have a signet power yet? And she's like, no, not yet. And he's like, fine, work on the lesser magics. But then, you know, basically lays out the expectation that she's going to have this amazing power because her sister and brother.
And he says, and Brennan, menders are so rare, and to lose one so young was so tragic. And she says, I think losing Brennan is the tragedy.
Uh-huh.
Sure, but
okay,
the loss
dude.
of his signet. Yeah. Oh, God. He's just the freaking worst. I cannot. I hate him so much.
We will only continue to hate him more and more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now I just want to pause for a second because we restart the challenges on the mat.
Yeah.
And Violet wins a challenge without poison.
I mean, a little. She has oranges.
No. She won like two challenges on the mat.
Yes. I was like, are we talking about Jack? Because
no, by herself.
She does.
Wins 2.
Thanks to all of this, like, work she's been putting in. Like, that
with
is
Imogen,
so
with
awesome.
Rhiannon, with Xaden, like,
she's been working hard, and it shows.
Yeah.
She's putting on strength.
Yep.
And she's already was super fast. This girl is becoming fierce before she even has her power.
Correct. And now we're starting to see everyone else is starting to get their signet. So Riddick can wield ice.
Yep.
Sawyer is developing his metallurgy power. Like, and control
All I can
metals.
think of is Magneto.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
pretty dope, by the way.
Yeah, amazing. And Liam can see things, like, from a distance, like a tree, like a mile away.
Super distance, yeah.
But not Violet. Violet still does not have a signet power.
That's weighing on her.
Yeah, it sure is.
Sure is. Okay.
And then we find out that Jack is going to be the person that she gets challenged on the mat with. And
she knows it because,
she knows it.
Our clever little Violet.
Yep. And she says to Liam, like, if I tell you something, can you not tell Xaden?
Yeah.
Like, if I tell you something as a friend, like, there's
can
nothing
you imagine being put in that position? Poor Liam! That's brutal.
And basically he says, like, if there's nothing that can be changed, like, yes, you can tell me as a friend.
Yeah.
And she tells him that she's going to fight Jack.
And but she doesn't want him to tell Xaden.
But she has a plan. And basically, right before this happens, she basically knows how much it's weighing on Liam and is like, you can go and tell him.
Yeah.
Because she knows...
Because only Xaden knows that she's been poisoning people. Nobody else does. So Jack, I'm sure Liam's like, what's your fucking plan?
Correct.
Like, your plan to die? Like, what are you going to do?
And so she says to Taryn, like, in her mind, he's going to kill me. And he goes, he's going to try. And she goes, any advice? And he goes, don't let him.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you so much. Okay, so Jack and Violet, the moment we've all been waiting for. Mm-hmm. It is a cinematic moment that I picture so vividly in my head because for the first time, looking back now, we see Jack as a Venom.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
he's a Venom, babe. Yeah. Like, the eyes are red. He's channeling this, like, vibrations and power.
Agony fills every cell in my body as violent, vibrating energy rips through me with an intensity that makes it feel like he's cleaving ligament from bone, muscle from tendon.
Yep. His sadistic grin and red rim around his eyes are all I can see as he forces more and more power into my body, but his hands are occupied, channeling. He's too obsessed with victory to hear that I've stopped screaming, to see that I'm moving. I can't. We also have hands reach for us both as I hear Riddick and
Immaterio,
cry out, jerking their hands away after contact. Whatever Jack is doing is transferring from me to them by touch.
Which is wild. So, like, in this scenario, the professors really don't know what's happening. That shows how little anyone knows about Venom.
Correct.
Because they don't even think they exist.
Correct.
There's such a small subset of people in the entire realm of Bisgayeth that know anything about it.
Correct.
And so they basically get, like, shocked off of them is what I envision.
Correct. So imagine you're Immaterio and you're like, you have to be like, this dude's fucking powerful, right?
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. And you must think he just has bloodshot eyes from the amount of power he's channeling.
At this point, they don't even know that he's channeling. They just think that this is
his
like power.
His signet. But like, holy shirt bowls. You know what I mean? Like, this is a big moment looking back on it now. Mm-hmm. In the first read, you don't know what's happening.
No. You just think that Jack has powers.
And that he's, like, trying to kill her.
He's using, like, you're not supposed to use powers on the map, but he's using it on the map.
He's, like, you just think he's really trying to kill her. Like, I didn't read anything more into this scene the first time than, like, oh, he's crazy.
Correct.
Like, that's all I had. But, ooh. So something happens.
Violet.
He turns Venom somewhere before this.
Because I have to imagine that this isn't the first time. Just the sheer amount of power that he is channeling at this point. Like, it just feels like he knows what he's doing.
So he says at the end of Iron Flame to Xaden something along the lines of, like, he doesn't know when it happened, but it's sometime after seeing her bond with Taryn. Mm. So we know he wasn't Venom, or at least he didn't know he was Venom during threshing. Mm-hmm. Also, I don't think a dragon would bond with someone that was a Venom. I don't know. So, in my mind, something happened from threshing to now, for all I know, this could be the first moment he channels because he's so angry. I don't know.
You're talking, this is like January-ish, so you're talking 3 months.
3 months. Something happened. Is it Carr? I don't know. Because we also find out, I think somewhat soon, that someone had a firepower that they couldn't control. Yes. And Carr had to, extinguish another child.
Yeah.
That I'm like, are you experimenting on the kids? Like, a la Winter Soldiers? Is this Winter Soldier serum? Are you trying to create little Venom Winter Soldiers? Mm-hmm. And some of them it works, Jack, and some it doesn't, and we're just killing people. Like, I don't know, but I think Carr is an ultimate baddie.
Definitely.
Like, big bad.
Definitely.
But I don't know.
And so as Violet is, basically going to die, she manages to get this vial that she has and smashes it against his teeth.
Yeah.
Feels one of his teeth break.
Yeah.
And it is orange. And he starts wheezing and clutching at his neck. And stupid Violet says to Riddick that it was oranges.
I know.
No one would have known.
You know what, though? Full circle, right? Because we need him to be alive to save her.
We do.
Later.
We do.
But in that moment, I'm frustrated with Violet. Like, are you being so for real? It's giving Harry Potter, like, just kill him.
Correct. Like, stop with the Expelliarmus.
Like, stop. We're in a killing college. Like, let it happen.
Correct.
It's not like anyone's going to think anything of you.
No, especially him.
Come on. He just tried to murder you in front of everybody. Gah. Anywho, moving on. Okay.
So she wakes up in the healer quadrant. Mm-hmm. And guess who's in the corner?
Who?
Looking angry. Might it be Xaden?
Yeah.
Yeah. He is unhappy.
He's like, oranges. Fucking oranges.
Oh, God.
I love him so much. Okay.
You turned oranges into a weapon, Violence.
I know. We start off on chapter 24, which is our last chapter.
Yes.
And the Book of Brennan.
Yeah.
He's like, Violet's not in... He still thinks Violet's going to be a scribe.
Yeah.
And he says it's why you have to be sure that Violet enters the scribe quadrant. She'll never be able to take a life. Right after we see her not do that.
Yeah. He's not wrong. They had her pegged from the start.
I can't wait for you, Brennan, to see what your sister has become.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You're not wrong. You know your sister well in that moment, but she's about to shock you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talk about mythical runes coming up.
Yeah. So basically, Xaden says, I'm taking over.
Yeah.
And she's like, taking over what? Everything when it comes to you.
Everything.
And at this point, as a reader, I could not be happier with this news.
Correct, because it's getting frustrating.
This is fantastic.
Like, Violet, enough.
Put them together. We need more time.
Give me the training montage.
Yeah. And so, the next day, they are on the mat.
Yeah. And can you just picture the scene?
Yes.
Like, unarm me.
And Xaden is loaded with...
He's loaded because you can't just give someone
they have to be
a weapon. They have to be one. But all of these daggers have mythical runes of intricate swirls and ties. The blade itself is clearly honed to lethal perfection and spectacular. He says, it's yours. My head snaps up, but there's no lie in his onyx eyes.
There's no lie.
He has had these specially made for her little hands, her delicate little form, and... They have runes in them.
And at this point, we know nothing about the runes.
We know nothing about runes.
But I have to say, like, of course Violet knows what a rune is. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's just so smart.
And as a reader, I'm obviously picking up on the fact that this blade is special. You don't just put... I've read enough fantasy with runes made in them to know that there's something kind of spell happening in this blade. There's a reason why you need this.
Yes.
But the thoughtfulness of that, it also makes me wonder, because he's just like, hey, I'm taking over. How far in advance did you have these made for her? Probably before that conversation.
Probably as soon as he...
And it makes me wonder, at the same time that he's getting those made, is he like, can I put in another order for a harness?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Who's making these things? He never really says.
No. but it's like he's been working at this from the jump.
My brain is like every time he does these like weapon exchanges he's just like, cool, let me place another order.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna bring you this, but you're gonna make me that. I love him so much.
This is the part, I'm reading the part where the kid lights himself on fire.
Yeah.
And dies.
Yeah.
His signet manifested in the middle of Carr's class yesterday and he burst into flames. Mm-hmm. He burned himself to death. Went up like a torch. So Violet is at this point frustrated.
Yeah.
She's frustrated that her signet hasn't
we're like
manifested.
60-something% in and she still doesn't
also
have her
very
signet.
Frustrated that Xaden has not mentioned the kiss.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So she's just frustrating, like just constant state of frustration for her.
Yeah. Okay, so you're talking about how we've had the scribes on it since the threshing. The only reference they can find is hundreds of years old. I remember your father doing research and mentioned feather tails, but we can't seem to find them. So this is coming from running into Dane's dad and her mom. And
and she really messes up because she says, Mom.
Yeah.
And she calls her mom,
I
and
know.
like that just sets the tone.
Sure does. Sure does. So he's talking about like, we can't wait to see what Andarna's like power is. Maybe we could do, maybe we could get her in here and do some basically experiments on her. Like they want it.
And she's
Violet's like, oh no.
I don't think she'd be comfortable with that.
No. And he's talking about, we don't know the full extent of what Feathertails can do. Your dad was researching that. That's so important. And I really think her dad's research is going to come into major play for Andarna.
And the thing is, at this point, so in her brain, she knows exactly where his notes are.
Oh, of course she does.
Her mom is standing right there. And I have to think her mom probably knows where the notes are, too.
Well, the look her mom gives her is like...
Like, we're on the same page.
But, of course, Violet thinks she's looking at her like, oh, she fucking knows that I know. Mm-hmm. But I think her mom's like, shut the fuck up.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know how you always think that, like, you know everything about your mom and, like, she doesn't.
Correct.
We'll find that out later. Like, she doesn't. I think her mom is
mom is trying to get out of this conversation as fast as possible.
As fast as fucking possible. Mm-hmm. We also see that her mom really does not like Xaden. Like, I always kind of wondered, like, does she actually have some respect for Xaden for what he does, or does she truly not trust him? I don't think she trusts him at all, because clearly she also still believes that Brennan is dead by the hands of his dad.
Yeah.
Like, everybody does.
Yeah. And I think that's probably the most pivotal thing in Iron Flame for her.
Oh, of course.
And that changes her completely.
As a mom, I can't help but think of how I would feel to see the son of someone that killed Cooper.
Yeah.
You know what? I would. Yeah. There's no way I could not look at you and not see your dad.
Yeah.
And so I get it. I do get it.
Yeah.
But I love that Xaden kind of calls her out in this scene. He's like, oh, interesting, because I thought we already worked out all those questions that you still have. Mm-hmm. And I love that Violet's like, what? What is she talking about?
It's clear that they have more of a history than she knows anything about.
Yeah.
And Violet's over here like, I've been in this world for so many years. What is going on behind my back that I have no idea about?
I love that her mom has no comeback. So she immediately turns to, do see if you can master some kind of signet cadet, Sorengale. Yeah. Just like, can you imagine? Like, you have a legacy to live up to, is what she says in front of Xaden, in front of Dane's stupid dad.
In front of Panchek, like the general, too. Yeah.
Wow. Brutal.
Commandant, or whatever he is.
And Xaden's like, didn't realize it was quite like that between you guys. Like,
yeah, I mean, at the same way that it's eye-opening for Violet to see Xaden's relationship with her mom, it's eye-opening for Xaden to see that her mom really does. It seems outwardly that she doesn't care about her at all.
Correct. And she opens up to Xaden in this moment, and she says, she spent almost an entire year ignoring me when Dad died. Like, that is such a big thing to share with someone when your mom is that, like, everyone looks up to her. You must be so lucky that she's your mom, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And she talks about, which it was almost as wholesome as the years she spent barely tolerating my existence because I wasn't perfect like Brennan or a warrior like Mira. She says I shouldn't be saying these things. These are the thoughts families keep behind their doors so they can wear their polished, perfect reputations like armor when in public. Like,
yeah,
they're sharing things.
Yes, they are. And she kind of can't help herself.
No.
She's just, it's not like he's drawing this stuff out of her.
No.
She's
this
just
isn't him, like, tapping into her brain or getting anything. Like, she feels more trust towards him than she's ever felt towards Dane, that she feels towards Rihanna. Like,
I think there's a big layer of comfort now with Xaden.
Which is wild because we're not even into where they're going to go.
No.
Like, the trust is there as much as they won't admit it.
And the thing is, like, she still in this part knows that there's a lot of stuff she doesn't know about Xaden either. Mm-hmm. Like, he says, she asked her, like, what was that about with my mom? And he said, just reminding her that I paid the price for my loyalty. But clearly he's not going to, he says boundaries, violence. Yep. So he's not going to give her anything more.
Yep. And she says, I can't help but remember what Dane said, that Xaden has reasons to never forgive my mother. Like, if anyone has a reason to not forgive, it's him. And do you think
part of her is like, that tracks?
Correct. My mom's the worst.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. If anyone is validated and how they feel, it is Xaden. Like, oh man, can you even imagine?
And then we go into chapter 25. And this is a good one to end on because I can also see this as an episode of a TV show.
Oh God.
Right?
For sure.
Right? So we find out that there's going to, the squad battle is starting. Mm-hmm. And they find out that groups of all of the upper leaders are gone.
Yes. Well, so they say at the very beginning, another Brooke of Brennan moment. Yep. The squad battle is more important than the wing leaders will let on. They like to joke that it's a game, that it's just bragging rights for the squad leaders and the winning squad, but it's not. They're all watching. The commandment, the professors, the commanding officers, they're watching to see who will rise to the top, and they're salivating to see who will fall.
That tracks, yeah.
Cool. Cool. So Violet gets to read that, so she also knows this is a big moment.
Yeah.
This is a big moment. This is a moment where all the other games aside, we see everybody, like, rising. Of course, Liam's doing awesome.
They're doing the gauntlet again, and they're doing all these, like, things that simulate working as a squad and what you're going to be doing out in the real world and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then they find out that their final task is starting right now, and none of the upper leaders are there, and they have like 3 hours or something.
It says, your mission is simple. Find and acquire by any means necessary the one thing that would be most advantageous to our enemies regarding the war effort. Leadership will serve as an unbiased judges, and the winning squad will be awarded 60 points.
And of course, it's a very House Cups moment where that 60 points is going to win them.
Yes, it's
the cup. Like, it's like
getting the golden snitch.
Gryffindor's going to get that extra 10 points for Neville, and so they're going to win.
It is definitely giving house points.
Absolutely.
But we get to see Violet be a leader, even though they don't choose her as the leader.
No, so they all kind of choose Imogen.
Yeah. She is one of the older students.
However, Violet has the idea.
Yeah.
And we very quickly see how Violet's, like, scribe mind works, and she's using everyone's potential, and, like, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, and this is what we're going to do.
Yes, I love that scene. She's like, what's your power? What's your power? What's your power? What's your power? Like, she's clocking it all, and they're all giving her information, where before, at the beginning of the year, they've been like, this bitch.
Like, no one's questioning it at this point.
No one's questioning it. Everyone's like, okay, like, you're the smart one.
Which kind of shows how much respect that she's earned.
Yeah.
And it also makes you hate Dane more in this. This
is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Everybody else respects her. Even the people that hated her. Like, she's not to be messed with, especially when it comes to brain power.
Yeah.
So she comes up with, oh man, I can't believe the Gryffindor in this girl.
Oh yeah.
The bravery in this girl. They're going to break into
Set of balls on her
mother's office. This is something that would get them all dead.
Absolutely.
Dead. All of them. Every single one of them if they're caught. Ooh, this is a mission.
Breaking into mommy's office.
This is very much a breaking into Gringotts moment. We're making a lot of Harry Potter references.
We are.
I'm really like seeing the parallels here.
Wow.
This is such a fun episode, if you will.
Yes.
Seeing them all get to use their
we see
power.
I really like Quinn's power. She astral projects.
Yeah.
And so she kind of she's the decoy, so they
P.S.
have to get...
I want that one where I can stay safe,
right?
but
Isn't that amazing?
project myself
Oh my
into
God.
a dangerous situation. Yes, please.
And of course, they get into the office, and we see there's a dagger with a Tirish rune.
Looks
on
pretty
Mommy's
similar.
desk.
Pretty similar to the ones that Violet has just been given.
At this point, I said, "Do we find out what rune is on her blade? Probably, but my brain is mush."
We might. I don't think.
Maybe.
I don't think we really hear all that much more about the blade runes.
No, but at least we know that we know where she got it.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they end up settling on a map. They're going to steal a map from the office. And I said about the map, it shows the Barrens.
It sure does.
They talk about the Barrens again. And I'm like, and that's in the southern tip of the continent.
Here we go with the southern again.
Which we know that's where all of these problems have been. So that, to me, that's the Venin stronghold, right?
Yeah.
Is the Barrens.
She's also reading some, like, letters.
Yeah.
And stuff that it's, like, kind of eye-opening. Like, people, like, begging for help. Like, they're like, hey, the raids around Athbine have spread the wing too thin. Like, we need some help over here. And it's crazy. Like, they're pleading.
Like,
they're
there
like
are people
begging.
who, in this first one, she went up the chain of command, and she's like, but I'd be remiss if I didn't directly send you something too.
And Violet's like, wait a second, we haven't heard anything about this in our battle brief. And she thinks to herself, maybe they don't want to scare us. Have they ever shown you that they don't want to scare you?
Correct.
They're killing you guys left and right. What are you talking about? Like, Violet. She still wants to believe that maybe her mom is good. And I get that.
I know, don't we all? Like, you know what I mean? Ugh.
Yes. So she's reading some more. We're hearing about protests regarding conscription laws are growing within the province. Like, we're getting a little. Rebecca Yarros is so good at giving us information without it being like in your face.
Like, this is a high intensity situation, and
she's
it's
just
high stakes, and we're just she's feeding us little breadcrumbs.
She's so freaking good at it. So we get a lot of info out of just what is kind of going happening in the world around her through this. But let's not forget that everything is tense right now. And they're like, hey, we gotta go.
So they get the map. Obviously, like, they're not going to get out unscathed.
It's a real close call, yeah.
No, they end up having to, like, knock out the guard, and Violet obviously has, like, a potion on her that's going to, like, put him to sleep.
And she's like, we can't hurt them, though. You know what I mean? Like, put him to sleep. We cannot hurt them. I totally agree.
They show up with minutes to spare.
Yes. And even Imogen is like, please work, please work, please work. Oh, like, she's just like, we're seeing Imogen, like, not be the strong thing.
Correct.
For, like, where she's like, oh my God. And the map disappears out of her hands and reappears down the hallway. And who's? Rhiannon. Like, what a move. I can see this whole scene. Everyone's using their powers. And it's coming together in the best freaking way. I love it so much.
Oh, I can't wait.
I cannot wait. Yes, she has her vial all as well.
So then they go and they present. Everyone's presenting like the different things that they got, and some people. One person stole a scribe. They stole a scribe.
And he's just like in their pajamas.
Someone stole a uniform.
And
which,
like,
that's good. Great.
You know, ever since the book title of Onyx Storm has come out,
Onyx is everywhere.
Everywhere. She says, I stand back next to Imogen and search the leadership and search for a pair of onyx eyes.
It's always Onyx.
Yo, I didn't realize how redundant she is with the onyx eyes.
But the thing is, now if the third book was never entitled Onyx Storm, would we?
No.
You know what I mean?
Rebecca has said she knew the entire story before she even had to pitch it.
Yeah.
So she probably already had the titles of books and everything plotted out. This wasn't even the only story she, pitched. So can't wait for all.
Like I said, when we're 60.
When we're 60. Oh my God. But I love just the speechlessness of everybody.
Mayhem breaks out.
Some of the riders rushing the stage as professors battle their way towards us, but I ignore it all as Xaden tilts one corner of that beautiful mouth and tips an imaginary hat to me. Can you even picture Xaden doing that?
Yeah.
I love it.
And she
so
goes,
much.
It doesn't matter how the vote comes down. I've already won. Because she has his approval. That's all she needs.
That's all she needed.
She's in trouble, folks.
Woo! And that's where it ends. We are 64% of the way through the book.
Yeah.
The back half cooks.
Uh-huh.
It is, again, we don't even know her power yet.
Things are starting to get real.
Yeah. And what a satisfying moment when we do see her get that power.
Yeah.
It was like a stand and clap, moment.
Uh-huh.
But we're getting there. So stick with us because we're going to get through Fourth Wing and then we're going to have to really full steam ahead through Iron Flame because we got to get through the holidays.
Yep.
We got to get through post-holiday depression, all the things.
Yeah, all the things.
So this will be our guiding light to get us through how much money I just spent at Christmas time.
I can't think about it.
No. Especially because I actually haven't bought anything yet. I need to do a lot.
It's real bad.
Cool. Can't wait to hear what you guys are thinking, feeling. What did we miss in these, 5 chapters that you were like, I can't believe you guys didn't talk about this thing. Tell me. I want to know. I'm loving all the DMs you guys are sending as well. Keep them coming and keep sending me, I guess, all your theories because that's how I found out about the Bodhi one.
Yeah.
What do you think about this theory? Everyone's sending me all the things. And what do you think about, am I just focusing too much on people with braided hair?
Listen, by the end of it, we're just going to have a lineup of
every female that's ever existed.
That's it.
That's Mira. But Mira has short hair, so it's not her.
No.
Unless it's a multiverse situation.
Unless her hair grows so much.
What power does someone be like, fashion power?
Unless she took a potion.
What power do you think you would get?
Oh my God.
I feel like I'd get something so lame.
Yeah, I'd get ice.
Yeah, I'd probably be very meh. Oh, is your drink warm? Touch. I'd get something dumb.
My mom would be like, I have hot flashes, so this is good. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll check you later and hope you all had a great holiday. And we're already into the next holiday season. Yep. So
here we go.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.